So first of all, what we are, so you have to create a class. So class name is doctor. Done, right? Now after creating
Sir,
class, what
record the
you have
class.
to do? So you have to create a init method, correct? First of all, so how to create init method? So def init. Okay, so def init. So do I need to take any parameter? How many? 3. Why is the parameter names? So number, name and specification, correct? No. So here, so what I have to do here? So I have to create how many variables? 3 variables, correct? No. So that variable will have what? Self as a keyword. So self dot number is equal to number. So similarly, self dot name is equal to name, and self dot spec is equal to spec. That's all, right? Anything else? So anything else is required here? No. So the first mistake what you have done is, so it is something like this. So what you have done, you have created a method. So where you have created a method, it is here. So here you have done self. So something like this. And here what you are trying to do, you are trying to write print self dot. So will I get anything here? If I get also, I'll not get the proper output. Okay, so I'll get error here. If I write something like this, so this is the first mistake. So what you have, which you have done. Okay, so I don't know, I don't remember names also who have done. Okay, so but this mistake you have done. So after that, the second mistake I'll show. So they have created the object properly. So D is equal to doctor. So how many arguments have to pass? 3. For example, I'll give 1 comma. So maybe some Raj and maybe some data I've given. Now if I execute this line of code, so what will happen? So it will call the init method. Yes or no? Yes. So after that, what I will do, I'll write D dot. So is it possible to call the display method? Is it possible to call the display method using D? No. So remember, if you want to create a method inside this class, so what you should do? So you have to give proper indentation. So is it proper here? Okay. So this is the first mistake. Is it clear? You are not supposed to do this one. So what I will do, I'll make it correct. So now we can see I have made it correct. Now the second mistake, what they have done, they are writing D dot. Is this correct? So why is the mistake here? Why is the mistake here? Okay, so while creating the method, what I have done, I have given capital D, and while calling, what I have done, I have done small d. So remember, Python is case sensitive or insensitive. So Python is case sensitive. So this display is different. This display is different. So what name you have given while creating the method? So same name you are supposed to call. Correct? No. So what I have to do here? I have to give capital D. So now you can see if I give capital D, I'm getting the intelligence also. So D dot display. So before that, let me print other details also. So print self dot name, and similarly print self dot spec. Okay. Now if I execute this code, I'll get the correct output. If I execute this code, I'll get the correct output. So you can see 1 Rajan ENT. Similarly, I am supposed to create one more variable. So let me get D2 is equal to doctor. So some data I'll give. So 2 comma. So some Veena and maybe something I have given. So now if I want to execute a display method, what I have to do? So I have to again call the method display. So D2 dot display. That's all. So now if I execute this method, you can check. I'll get so 1 Raji NT. So similar to B9 So some specialization. Is it clear? Okay. So with this, as I told yesterday, we have completed the constructor topic. Correct? No. So now we'll try to understand variables. So till now, how many types of variables you know? So what are they? So global variable and
Hello, Sanchita.
so where we will create local variable?
6,000 ಕೊಡ್ತಾರ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ನಾಗ.
Inside method.
ನಮ್ಮ
Inside
ದೋಸ್ತ
method.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು
So inside method header and body. So inside
6
method
month
header and method.
ಇರ್ಬೇಕದು.
So where you will create global variables?
ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅದಲ್ಲ.
Outside. Outside.
ಏನಾರ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡೋದು ಚಲೋ ಅಲ್ಲ.
Outside the method. Inside the class. Outside the method, inside the class. Is it correct?
Sir, not all.
So outside the method, inside the class. Is it correct? Okay. So remember, global variables are the variables which is created outside everything in the root level. In the root level. For example, if I want to talk about global variables, so if I am creating a variable here, for example, GB is equal to 10. So now I can tell this GB is a global variable. This GB is a global variable. So remember this point. Okay. So global variables which are declared at root level. So how to figure out this GB is global variable? So I have told right already how to know this GB is a global variable. Huh? That is true, but one more thing I have told, right? So it will be added in the globals dictionary. So how to verify that one? So I'll just write print globals. If I write print globals, you can see. So this particular thing will be added inside the dictionary. So you can verify here. Where is it? So GB. So you can see here GB 10. So now what I will do, I will create a variable here. Okay. I'll create a variable inside class outside method. For example, I'll give here V is equal to 20. So is it a global variable? Okay. So remember, this is not a global variable. Now let me prove it. Am I having V anywhere? Am I having V? So only I have GB. So remember, only this GB is global variable. So which is declared at the root level. Okay. So remember, this is the root level. So whichever variable you are declaring at the root level, that is considered as global variable. Is it clear? Online. Is it clear? Okay. So question I got, what is difference between class and methods? Okay. So remember, there is a lot of difference between class and methods. Okay. So remember, class is a container where you can create methods. Okay. So class is a container where you can create methods. So if I talk about any other programming language, it is not possible to create a method without creating a class. So it's only Python where you can create a method directly outside a class. Okay, it's only possible in methods. But if you talk about any other programming language like C++, Java, okay, C#, so whichever language you take, so it's not possible to create a method outside a class. Okay, it's only possible in Python. But normally what we will do, we'll create method inside class only. We'll follow the standard approach in Python only. Okay, so is it clear? This example, is it clear? So remember the difference between global variable and local variable. So today we are going to discuss one more type of variable. Okay, so that is nothing but instance variable. Okay, so remember, instance variables are always referred or used with self keyword. So now in this example, can you tell me which one is instance variable? So in this example, which one is instance variable? So self.number, self.name, self.spec. So remember, all these type of variables is called as instance variable. So remember, instance is nothing but object. So instance is nothing but object. So you can call it as instance variable or object variables. Is this clear? Is it clear? Yes or no? Okay, so yeah, you can see here. So local variables will be inside a method, so we cannot access local variable with self keyword. So remember the difference. So we cannot access local variables with self keyword. So yesterday I have shown an example, right? So I have created some variables in one method, and that I am trying to access in another method using self. Is it possible? No. So we can access only instance variable using self keyword. Is it clear? Okay, so now let us see one example. So in this class test, I have created a init method or the constructor. So now in this constructor, am I having any variable? How many? Two. So why is the type of these variables? Why is the type of these variables ing? So definitely local only. Okay, it's local variable. So ing I am declaring inside what? Inside method header. So it is definitely a local variable. Now inside the init method, I am creating two more variables. So now this x and y are what type of variables? So y instance variable. Y instance variable. So because it is having self keyword, so self dot x and self dot y. So because of this, it is called as instance variable. So remember, this is instance variable, this is local variable. Okay, so this is a method. So this is called as instance variable, and this is called as local variable. So where you can create instance variable? So where we can create instance variable? Inside method, which is having self as parameter. Inside method, which is having self as parameter. So remember, if I don't have this self parameter here, so can I create this self.x? Okay, so this is the first requirement for creating a instance variable. You can create an instance variable inside any method which is having self as a parameter. Is this clear? Is it clear? Okay. So one example you are having here. So a local variable of one method cannot be accessed in another method. So let us see an example to prove this one. So I have created a class. So in this class, I have created a method called init or the constructor. Okay. So in this constructor, what I have done, I have created x is equal to 10 and print x. So what type of variable is this x? So local variable, correct? No, is it instance variable? No. So why it is not an instance variable? So because we don't have self dot, correct? So similarly, I have created one more method called f1. So even this f1 is having self by default, correct? Now inside this self, I have created one more variable called y. So what type of variable is this y? So local variable. Local to what? So local to f1. So similarly, this x is local to init. So now here I am printing y. So similarly, I am writing print x. So now in this code, tell me which code is going to work, which code will give me error. So is it going to work? So definitely yes. So what about this one? Yes. What about x? Why no? Because we don't have x variable in this particular scope or method, whatever you can tell. So in this particular scope or in this particular method, I don't have variable called x. So I'll get error here. I'll get definitely an error. Is it clear? So similarly, I have one more method. I have one more method. So in this method, what I have done, I'm writing print x. Is it going to work? What about print y? Okay, so it will give me again error. Okay, so this code is not going to work. Okay, so here it will work. So even here I'll get error. So local variable x I can access only inside this particular scope or inside this particular init method. Similarly, local variable y I can access only inside F1. So it will work. So what about this one? It will give me error. So similarly here also it will give me error. Even this is going to give error. Is this clear? This example. Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay. And remember, okay, one more important point. So while writing the code, you have to be very strict about indentation. Okay, while writing the code, you have to be very strict with indentation. So don't miss the indentation. Okay. So let us see one more example. Okay, let us see one more example. So two methods can have local variable with same name. So two methods can have local variables with same name. Is it possible? Why? Because both the methods are independent, correct? No. So both the methods are independent, and one method, if it is having local variable, that is only accessible inside that particular method. So that will not have impact on the another method, correct? No. But what I will ask, so can I have two instance variable with same name? Can I have two instance variable with same name in different methods? Is it possible? Instance variable with same name in two different methods. Okay, so that is not possible. Because self, correct? No, so that is not possible. Okay, but local variable it is possible. So let us see this example first of all. So we can create, so we can access local variable outside the method. So this is a rule we know, correct? So we cannot access local variable outside the method. Now we cannot access local variable with dot operator. So what dot? So self dot. So we cannot access local variable with self dot. Is it clear? Now let us see one example. So I have created a class. In this class, I have created a method called F1. So now in this F1, am I having any parameter? Do I have any parameter? No. So no parameter. So I have written x is equal to 10. Similarly, print x. X is equal to 10, print x. So similarly, I have created one more method called F2. Now in this F2, I am having any parameter? No. So I have written x is equal to 20. So similarly, print x. So T1 is equal to test. T1 is equal to test. First of all, tell me what type of variable is this x? Local. So what type of variable? Local. So can I create local variable with same name in different methods? So I can create, right? Now, after creating the object, what I will do, I'll just call print t1.x and print x. Okay, print t1.x and print x. Now tell me which code is going to work, which code will give me error. So t1.x will work. Okay. Tell me fast. So this t1.x will work and this x will not work. So that's you are trying to say. So which one will work, which will not work? Tell me fast. Okay, so both works. Print x is error. Okay. Yeah. Print x error, print x error. So all are saying print x error, print x error. Okay. So what about this t1.x? Will it work? Yes or no? How many yes? So raise your hands. So how many of you think yes? Okay. So how many of you think no? Okay. So this point only I have mentioned here, right? We cannot access local variable outside the method. So this is the first point. We cannot access local variable with dot. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm writing t1.x. Is it possible to access? No, it's not possible. Okay. So local variables I cannot access outside of its scope. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to access it outside the function. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. So you can see here, if I try to execute this code, it will give me error. So both are going to give error. So remember this point is very much important. Okay. So if it is an instance variable, I can access. If it is an instance variable, I can access. But what kind of variable it is? Local variable. So local variables I cannot access outside of that scope. Is it clear? Okay, so now let us see instance variable. Okay, so same thing I'll just explain with instance variable. So instance variable are always stored inside the object. So instance variable are always stored inside the object. So inside the object means, inside the init method.